You ever been driving down the highway, you glance over at a big tanker truck and you see one of those diamond-shaped signs, and you wonder, what does that actually mean? Well, it's kind of like a hidden language, one that's all around us, and it's designed specifically to keep us all safe. So today, we're going to decode those signs.
I mean, we've all seen this, right? A massive truck, carrying who knows what, just rolling down the road. And look, these vehicles are absolutely the lifeblood of our economy. They move everything from the fuel for our cars to the chemicals needed for, well, just about everything. But that also comes with a little bit of risk.
So when you see that diamond sign, maybe it's got a skull and crossbones or a picture of a flame, what is it really trying to tell you? Because it's not just a decoration, that's for sure. It is a critical piece of information, not just for you and me as drivers, but especially for first responders if there's an emergency.
To really get what these signs are about, we first have to understand the whole system behind them. It all starts with just recognizing the potential dangers that are being hauled across the country every single day.
And that right there brings us to Canada's Transportation of Dangerous Goods Act, or just the TDG Act. Think of this as the official playbook. It's a set of rules that everyone has to follow to promote public safety whenever these materials are being handled or transported.
So what exactly qualifies as dangerous goods? Well, the official definition is pretty broad. It's basically any product or substance that the regulations have decided to classify as dangerous, and that list covers thousands of materials, from the stuff you'd expect, like explosives, to some things that might really surprise you.
And you know, these rules don't just apply to the person behind the wheel. The term handling is also defined really broadly. It covers every single step of that product's journey. Loading it up, packing it, unpacking it at the other end, literally everything in between. Basically, if you touch it, you are part of the process and you need to be trained.
Okay, now this is a really important distinction to make. You've probably heard of WHMIS, right? The Workplace Safety System. Here's the key difference. WHMIS is all about protecting employees inside a workplace. TDG, on the other hand, is for protecting all of us, the public, while those goods are out on our roads, our railways, or on the water.
All right, so the entire TDG system is built on this foundation of 9 different classes of danger. Let's think of this next section as our visual dictionary. Once you get these 9 symbols down, you'll be able to read the language of the road no problem.
And here they are, all 9 of them in one place. 9 categories that cover everything from dynamite to batteries. Ready? Let's break them down one by one.
First up, we've got Class 1 explosives. This one's pretty straightforward, right? The symbol literally looks like something blowing up because that is exactly what it can do. We're talking about dynamite, of course, but also things like commercial fireworks.
Class 2 is all about gases. Now this one's a little tricky because it has 3 different divisions. You've got your flammable gases, like the propane in a BBQ tank. You've got non-flammable gases, like oxygen, and you even have poisonous gases. That little gas cylinder symbol is your main clue here.
Now, Class 3, flammable liquids, is probably the one you see the most. This is your gasoline, your diesel fuel. The real danger here isn't the liquid itself, it's the vapor. These liquids release a vapor that can catch fire really easily, which is what flashpoint means. It's the temperature where there's enough vapor to ignite.
Next up, Class 4, flammable solids. This covers things that can catch fire just from friction, like safety matches. It also includes some really reactive stuff, like pure sodium, which can literally burst into flame just on contact with water. Wild, right? Class 5 is for oxidizers, and this one shows a really unique kind of danger. See, oxidizers don't necessarily burn on their own. Instead, they produce oxygen, which means they can make an existing fire burn way, way hotter and much more intensely. It's like pouring fuel on the fire, chemically speaking.
Moving on to Class 6, poisonous and infectious substances. You know this one, the classic skull and crossbones. This covers stuff that's toxic to us whether you breathe it, touch it, or swallow it. Think about things like chemical pesticides or biomedical waste coming from a hospital.
Class 8 is for corrosives. The symbol here is pretty powerful. It shows a substance literally eating away at a hand and a piece of metal. And that's because these things, like sulfuric acid or battery acid, can cause severe chemical burns to your skin and just dissolve solid steel. Class 7 is a highly specialized one, radioactive materials. These are all about the invisible danger they pose through radiation. Now, you're not going to see this one very often, but that makes it even more critical to recognize when you do.
And finally, we get to Class 9, miscellaneous. This is basically the catch-all category.
It's for anything that presents a danger during transport but doesn't really fit neatly into any of the other 8 classes. This could be things like asbestos or even huge shipments of lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, so now we know the 9 classes, but how are they actually shown to us out there in the world? Well, the system uses 2 main tools to communicate the danger visually. And the difference between them is super simple, but really important.
And here it is. It's all about size. Labels, they're for the small stuff, the individual boxes, the packages, the cylinders. Placards, those are the big versions of the exact same symbols, and they go on the large containers, like the side of a transport truck or a rail car. Small package, label. Big truck, placard. It's really that simple.
And here is a perfect example of what I mean. We're looking at a Class 8 corrosive label on a cardboard box. Why a label? Because it's a small container. This tells anyone who has to handle this specific box exactly what's inside and the kind of danger it poses.
But of course, the real world is complicated. Not every single dangerous good needs the whole shebang, a full placard and shipping document. The system has some really important rules for training, and crucially, some common sense exemptions.
Okay, let's take a quick look at this table, because it clears up a lot. If you're transporting a small amount of something common, like gasoline or propane, you might be exempt from needing a big shipping document or those giant placards on your truck. But, and this is the most important part, you are never exempt from labeling the container itself, and you're never exempt from reporting a spill if one happens. Safety always comes first. So, the next time you're on the highway and you see one of those diamond signs, you won't just see a symbol anymore. You'll actually be reading a language. You'll know the class, you'll understand the potential hazard, and you'll have a much deeper appreciation for this complex system that's quietly working to keep all of us safe. So, what are you going to see out there?